You've probably noticed it before. Someone walks into a room, and without raising their voice, without making demands, they instantly command attention. It's not about charisma or authority from a title. It's something deeper. It's the way they speak, the precision of their words, the unshakable calm in their delivery. While others scramble for attention, these people earn respect effortlessly. Today, I'm revealing 5 phrases that give you exactly that power. Phrases rooted in ancient Stoic wisdom, but devastatingly effective in modern life. And phrase number 3, it can flip any power dynamic in seconds. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one, let's begin. Phrase 1, I understand your point, but I disagree. At first glance, this seems like just another polite sentence, but beneath its simplicity lies extraordinary power. Most arguments don't collapse because of facts. They collapse because of ego. The moment you tell someone that's wrong or you don't know what you're talking about, their defenses rise like a fortress. They stop listening. They start fighting. Any possibility of productive dialogue disappears. But this phrase is fundamentally different. When you begin with, I understand your point, you disarm the other person completely. You show them you've actually heard their words, that you've taken time to process their perspective. You're not dismissing them, you're acknowledging their humanity. And then, without anger, without mockery, without any condescension, you draw your line, but I disagree. No shouting, no desperate defense, no emotional escalation, just presence, just firmness, just the quiet confidence of someone who knows their own mind. Picture a boardroom scenario. Someone lays out a plan you know will fail. You can see the flaws clearly, the inevitable problems ahead. Most people would either stay silent to avoid conflict or ignite a confrontation that poisons the room. But you lean forward, your voice steady, your eyes calm, and you say, I understand your point, but I disagree. The room shifts immediately. The energy changes. Suddenly, people see you differently. Not as a rebel looking to cause trouble, not as an enemy, but as someone independent, someone thoughtful, someone who cannot be pushed around or manipulated. This is Stoicism alive. It's the art of separating emotion from judgment, maintaining clarity when tensions run high. And here's the hidden truth. The calmer your disagreement, the more powerful it becomes. Anyone can blurt out, you're wrong. That requires no discipline, no control. But to hold your ground with complete serenity, that takes genuine mastery. When you do this consistently, people begin to trust your judgment even more. Because deep down, we all know this truth. The one who controls his voice controls the room, and the one who controls his mind commands respect without ever asking for it. Phrase 2, I don't find that appropriate. Sometimes the most powerful response is the shortest one. This phrase contains only 5 words, but those 5 words can end a storm before it even begins. Think about how most people react when someone crosses the line, when someone makes an offensive comment or behaves disrespectfully. They laugh nervously, trying to diffuse the tension. They stay silent, hoping the moment will pass. Or worse, they play along, joining the inappropriate behavior just to fit in, to avoid being seen as difficult. And in that moment, they send a silent but unmistakable message to everyone watching. It's okay to disrespect me. I won't defend myself. But when you look someone directly in the eye, calm, steady, completely unshaken, and you say with quiet authority, I don't find that appropriate. Everything changes in an instant. No lengthy lecture about why they're wrong. No anger or indignation that makes you look reactive. Just a boundary, clear as stone, solid as steel. Picture this scene clearly. You're at a dinner table with colleagues or family. Someone makes an offensive joke, something that crosses a clear line. Instead of smiling nervously, you pause deliberately. You take a breath, and you say, without any trace of apology, I don't find that appropriate. The air shifts immediately. The laughter dies down like someone turned off a switch. People suddenly realize something important. You're not someone who can be played with. You're not someone who sells dignity for approval. Seneca once said, with penetrating insight, he who respects himself will be respected by others. This phrase is that truth in action. And here's the deeper lesson. When you use this phrase, you don't just protect yourself, you silently give others permission to protect themselves too. Because every room has people who feel uncomfortable but stay quiet. They're waiting for someone else to be brave first. When you draw the line clearly and calmly, you show them how to draw theirs. This is why the Stoics saw dignity as an invisible shield. It requires no force, no elaborate defense. It simply radiates outward from a person who knows their worth. Phrase 3. Let's talk when we can do so respectfully. There are moments in life when conversations stop being conversations. They transform into verbal battlegrounds, where voices rise higher and higher, where interruptions fly like bullets, and every word becomes a weapon designed to wound rather than communicate. And in that chaos, most people make one of two fundamental mistakes. They either fight back aggressively, matching the other person's hostility, or they retreat into silence, feeling defeated and powerless. But the Stoic way offers a third path. Instead of shouting back, instead of shrinking away, you do something that requires tremendous inner strength. You pause deliberately. You take a conscious breath, and you say, with calm, unmistakable authority, let's talk when we can do so respectfully. In that single instant, the fire dies. The escalation stops, because you've just completely shifted the rules of the game. You've refused to play on their terms, refused to let them dictate the emotional tone. And now suddenly, the control belongs entirely to you. Picture this scenario. A co-worker interrupts you mid-sentence, their voice sharp and aggressive, clearly trying to dominate the room. But you don't raise your volume even slightly. You don't beg to be heard like someone desperate for validation. Instead, you simply stop speaking. You let the silence hang for a moment, and then you say, calmly but firmly, let's talk, when we can do so respectfully. Silence follows profound, meaningful silence, because the message is absolutely clear to everyone in the room. You are not afraid of dialogue, but you categorically refuse to dignify disrespect. Epictetus taught with profound wisdom. You cannot control the actions of others, but you can always control your response. And this phrase is that wisdom made alive. You protect your peace, you guard your dignity, and without a single insult, without any counterattack, you force the other person to reconsider their behavior. The first time you use this phrase, you'll see it with your own eyes. The room will go quiet, the energy will shift palpably, and suddenly your voice will carry more weight than all the shouting combined. This is not weakness. This is mastery of the highest order. Because true strength doesn't come from volume. It comes from composure, Phrase 4. I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every conversation deserves your precious energy. There are moments when words stop seeking truth and start chasing victory for its own sake. Moments when the person in front of you doesn't want resolution or understanding. They want domination. They want to drain you, trap you in endless circles, pull you down into their chaos. And here is where most people fall. They argue longer, thinking somehow they'll break through. They burn hours of precious time proving a point that never needed proving to someone who was never truly listening. But you are different. You've learned something crucial. Your time and energy are finite resources. Your peace of mind is precious, and not everyone deserves access to these resources. So you pause deliberately. You take a conscious breath, and you say calmly, without a trace of anger, I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. With those words, you close the door, not out of fear, not out of weakness, but out of genuine strength, the strength that comes from knowing yourself, from recognizing when engagement has become pointless. Picture this. Someone keeps provoking you deliberately, circling the same points again and again. Instead of taking the bait, you smile slightly, you steady your tone, and you say with quiet finality, I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. The tension breaks immediately because you've made a conscious choice. You will not sacrifice your inner calm for the hollow illusion of winning an argument. Marcus Aurelius wrote, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. You've refused to mirror their anger, their pettiness, their need to dominate. Walking away doesn't mean you lost. It means you saw clearly that the battle itself was meaningless. You valued your time, your mental energy, your emotional peace more than their noise. Phrase 5. That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it. In today's hyper-connected world, everyone has an opinion about how you should live your life, and too often, those opinions are forced upon us like chains, presented not as suggestions, but as imperatives. Most people either fight back aggressively or they bend reluctantly, nodding along just to keep the peace.